In the searing desert heats, crowds gather at a holy shrine to begin their exorcisms. Pilgrims prostrate themselves before the shrine. Gurus lead crowds in prayerful song. On a nearby rooftop, Rakesh is about to have his spirits exorcised. Believing he is halfway to a cure, Rakesh's mother leads him back into the crowd. They will stay here until he is completely cured, no matter what it takes. Their faith in Balaji's grace goes on.
Para ellos es plata para ellos y para los demás no. Entre más tengan ellos, mejor. Entonces, no sé, pues es como denigrante para uno.
Todo es tan difícil hoy en día, le digo yo. Si antes era difícil, ahora se pone más difícil para todos.
This is all 16mm film. It's a mixture of black and white and colour. Some of it's combined soundtrack and some of it's separate soundtrack. It is all news. This is nearly all the sort of 6:30 local news type programme, although there is some farming and sport in there as well. You know, the news about sport that week or that day, the news about farming that week. Farming was massive and was covered as a weekly subject as well as in the news in its own right. We have some more news in large cans over there where they would have done a weekly catch-up on the news.
One thing about St Ives which makes it unique in terms of artist colonies is that there has always been a fresh crop of younger artists moving in at various times, and it reseeds this community.
There are 10 studios in the complex and fishing cellars underneath as well. And so it's a unique relationship between artists and fishermen. So the artists that have been in here have included some of the sort of who's who of 20th century modern art, like Ben Nicholson, Francis Bacon, Patrick Heron, Wilhelmina Barnes-Brown, Bruno Casey, you know, the list goes on, Terry Frost. And so in a place like this, for instance, if you make a line drawing, it's very difficult to not feel Ben Nicholson sort of telling you what, you know, you have to kind of, you know, push him to the back of your mind and try and make your own drawing, things like that.
This was painted by Leonard Fuller in 1952. I was modelling in his school of painting for 3 years, during the summer season, you know, whilst he had all the visitors down. And one day he said, would you come downstairs to where he had his little studio in the back, and he asked me if I'd sit privately for him, which I did, and it took about 3 weeks.
Well, welcome again to the Cascade stage. It's nice to see so many people sitting in the sun, but we've got some great music for you. So we're going to have something slightly kind of mid-afternoon, relaxing. Let's have a big round of applause and welcome for Slow.
Okay, this song's called Old Crow.
I run with Cascade stage. The smallest, but the best. I stage manage it, announce it, get the bands on and off, make sure they're happy. Basically what I do at quite a few festivals over the summer. So it was Trowbridge last week, and then the week before that was Ashton Court, and Glastonbury of course. And you can now hear the dulcet tones of the cedar wafting towards us. Fantastic band. And they're a six-piece, very melodic. A lot of them classically trained. but to say that they're a folk band is wrong.
Thank you to GWR showcasing new music like they always do. There's Tony, he'll be selling CDs £5 from the front.
Oh, Rosemary, I love you. I'm always dreaming of you. No matter what I do, I can't forget you. Sometimes I wish that I had never met you. And yet if I should lose you, would mean my very life to me. Of all the queens that ever lived, I choose you to rule me, my Rosemary.
Arthur Henry Henderson of Greystone, St Maurs, was the man whose vision ultimately resulted in the commission of the Rosemary. He was a man who loved boats and perhaps who traded in them. Certainly he was, for his time, exploring the cutting edge of technology and owned several vessels. Arthur Henry Henderson appears through trade records to have taken residence in St Maurs around 1926, and at this time he purchased a vessel called Moonbeam from a Mrs. J. Bowen of Falmouth. Previously known as Portia, it was built in Southampton by Moonbeams Limited in 1913, and she was a 24-foot by 6'4" with a 2.9 draft and sported one of the earliest vertical reciprocating petrol motors designed by her builder, Mr. Moon. In the same year, 1926, Arthur Henry Henderson commissioned R.S. Burts of Falmouth, then situated at the bar, to make a larger motor yacht called Rosemary, which measured 30 foot by 8.9 with a 5.3 draft.